who are tuning in for the very first time. I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to address whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. You may discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families, dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. So we are here in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast, brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue giving on the Give segment of our app at New Life Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast, we thank you for your commitment and your support as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here to address whatever topics you might like to discuss and whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. And I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we have received a significant increase in viewership, and we thank you for inviting your family, friends, coworkers, and colleagues to tune in every day, Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. and on the Sunday sermon every Sunday at New Life Christian Center. So I want to thank you for doing that and continue to do that, because we want to make certain that everyone has the opportunity to hear from God, whether it's Monday through Friday or whether it is on Sunday. Of course, I'm off the air on Saturdays, but we are here with you 6 days a week. And so we are thankful for you continuing to encourage others to tune in 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm going to address the communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that family and friends accuse you of being a snob. However, you said you have a different standard of living, and you want to know what can you do to convince or prove to other family and friends that you're not being a snob. So let me, first of all, ask this question. Why do you feel impelled to convince anyone of anything? You are living your life, you're running your race, and you are running it well. You are living your life well. The problem is that the reason they use the term snob, or in some cases, God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life what's going on, and they want to tell you that you're bougie, and some of them tell you that you are snob, and some of them that you're a snob, and some of them tell you that you're living like a different culture. Well, here's a news flash. You have standards. You have a standard way of living that you have not only chosen to live, but that God has blessed you to be able to live because you've been trying to do the right things in life. You have a relationship with the Lord. You're constantly working to develop that relationship. You are doing the right things. So, I'll walk through the right things. You attend church on Sundays when church is open. Your church is not open at this time. You didn't tell me that, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. So you're watching online, and that's great. You're in church on Sundays. You have a prayer life. You read your daily bread. You even have begun to read the scriptures because you've been tuned into the broadcast. You didn't say this, but as God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, you've been studying more. So those are all positive things. But in addition to that, you don't waste your money. You are managing your assets. You are making certain that you're doing everything necessary to build a better quality of life. Now, some people might say, well, why are you tuned in? because you're trying to do all of the right things, but there's another level of growth. And you have realized that by watching the broadcast. So we thank you for tuning in. We thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. And most of all, we thank you for allowing us to speak to you the words that God has spoken to me that will enhance the quality of your life. Now, let's direct our attention to the people who are calling you a snob. The people who are calling you a snob, they don't have this, and I'm not, I'm certainly not going to disrespect your family. But your family lives differently than you live. They have a different standard of living. They have a different way of living. And their way of living and their standard of living is not allowing them to even experience a good quality of life, let alone experience the fullness of God. So what you have to do is you have to stand on your standards. There's a root word to standard, and that means stand. And I'm not going to preach because I feel a sermon coming on. Here's the reality. The reality is you have to stand on your standards. Your standards of the people that you have dated in the past. You've had a standard. Now, I do want to encourage you to start dating differently. So I'll get to that in a moment. Because God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life, I'm able to speak to you this morning or this afternoon what God has spoken to me. But your standards are good. Don't change your standards and diminish your light to let others shine, or diminish your standards to let others feel good about themselves. It's really interesting. So as I was prayerful about this, and as God was showing me in that secret place of your life, it reminded me of when you have a 3-switch light. You have a light that is, you can turn it on and it's dim. You can turn it on and it's normal light. And you can turn on the other switch and it will take you to maximum light. It will light up the room. Your standards of living are lighting up the room. And what happens is when you go into a room with other people, family and friends, is that their light is not shining as bright as your light. And so therefore, instead of them making the decision that they're going to brighten their own light, they try to diminish your brightness. They try to get you to tone down and tune down your brightness so that they can feel better about themselves, or so that your light doesn't shine so bright that it exposes their shortcomings. You've got to stick with your standards. Stand on your standards. Keep the standards that you've developed, your expectation for the people that you have in your life on a personal basis. Family is family. You can't choose you don't get to choose your family. You do get to choose your friends. Now, some of your friends have been with you for a long time, but their standards are lacking. Now, they are trying to build a relationship, build a quality of life, but the reason that they're not building a great quality of life is because they have no relationship with the Lord. They're just living life. And when you're just living life, you can't expect to have life and have it more abundantly. You're just living because there is no relationship with the Lord. So I want to tell you, don't feel the necessity to convince or prove to anyone else that you're not a snob. You're not being a snob. You just have standards. Stand on those standards. Now, I made a comment, and I'm going to say this to you. I'm going to encourage you to start dating differently. Okay, so you do have a standard for men that you dated in the past, and the standard is that they have a good career, that they focus on their careers, that they're good human beings. All of that's positive. You didn't tell me this, but God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. One of them was divorced, but he is a good family man. He, is really engaged with his children, so that's a good thing. All of them have been good human beings because of your standards. But now we have to go to the next level. And what I encouraged everyone to do was date with a purpose. We don't want to date for entertainment. We don't want to date for sport. We certainly don't want to date because we just want to go out and have a free meal. We want to make certain that even our dating has a purpose. We want to make certain that the person we're going to allow to be engaged in our lives is living with the same purpose that we're living. You need to make certain they have a relationship with the Lord. You need to know what that relationship looks like. You need to know what they're being taught. You need to know what's being revealed to them about the future. What's their 7-year plan? What's their 14-year plan? What's their 21-year plan? What's their 28-year plan? We need to know those things. And if we're not asking those things, we're dating with the wrong purpose. We're just dating for the sake of dating. And that is not going to enhance the quality of any of our lives. And certainly it will disrupt your standards. Because your standard of living is you now have a great quality of life. You want it to be even greater. You want to experience the fullness of God in your everyday life. And then you want to learn to maximize that, because that's what we all are living for. We want to maximize, first of all, experience success, maximize our success, experience the fullness of God, and then maximize the fullness of God in all of our lives. If we're not doing that, then we're missing the mark. So I want to encourage you, stand on your standards, and you will experience the fullness of God in your everyday life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, nor have you been for the previous 90 days, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you over into our queue that you may become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees are included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G provider at no extra charge. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you have been reflecting upon how the pandemic has changed your life, how much you have accomplished, how much more that needs to be done, and you have been also, you didn't say this part, but everything else you said, you've been reflecting on what you missed out on. And I want to encourage you right now, stop reflecting on what you feel you may have missed out on. I'm just going to eliminate that right now, because God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. That was one of the issues. But let's focus on what you wrote. And so you want to know how and where do you begin, to really accomplish much more. So let's walk through this step by step. First of all, it's good that you're reflecting upon how the pandemic has changed your life. We all need to reflect upon what's happened over the past year of our lives. And what I mean by that is not reflecting upon what we cannot do, not reflecting upon the changes that we had to make to be safe and to be well, but reflect upon how the pandemic has changed your life, both personally and professionally. What changes did you need to make that were successful changes with positive results, and what changes did you make that had an impact on your daily life, or maybe even disrupted some things? So because we want to eliminate the disruption from our lives. We want to maximize what we've accomplished. So let's walk through that. You said you have accomplished many things. However, there's more that needs to be done. So the way that you begin accomplishing more, even as we come out of this pandemic, so we're not stuck where we were when this all began in 2020. We're no longer there. And people keep focusing on the fact that we are still in the pandemic, but the reality is we are no longer where we were when everything shut down. And we've had to make progress, changing the way that we work, changing the way that we live, and hopefully, because we've been really focusing on what God has purposed for our lives, we've been able to move forward. We've been able to revise our strategic plan. We've been able to we've been able to develop an implementation strategy, first of all. And then we've been able to implement the new strategy. What things am I going to do in my personal life that's going to enhance my personal life? What things are we going to do in our professional life that's going to enhance our career? Those are areas of focus that we really need to reflect upon, and then we need to implement a new strategy as we move forward to make sure that every step of the way as we come out of this pandemic, people are getting vaccinated now, and people are returning to the office. There's progress being made. We now have a vaccine, and to God be the glory. We have a vaccine that allows us to begin the process of moving forward at a more accelerated pace. There's always going to be non-vaxxers, and we're going to have to live with them also. But the reality is, we'll be wearing masks for a while. Yes, all of those things are true, but the reality is that we are moving forward. We're making progress. So your implementation strategy will now allow you to make the revisions necessary to get everything done that needs to be done. But I don't want us to just survive the pandemic. So I've been saying this for a very long time now, and someone dear to me reminded me that I've been saying this since the moment that early on when we shut down, and that is, we don't want to just survive the pandemic. We want to thrive during the pandemic. We want to be able to thrive and get as much accomplished as we possibly can accomplish even during the pandemic. So we should have developed an implementation strategy, and we should be in the process now of implementing the steps that are going to allow us to be successful in everything that we do. So you know the things that need to be done. But how about this? We should also be working on the things we desire to be done. There are some things that we desire to be done that don't necessarily need to be done. They only need to be done to enhance the quality of our lives. So we could be stuck and stagnant right where we are. However, we miss out on the progress of life, the success of life that's before us. Our future is constantly evolving day by day. Tomorrow is the future. Every day after tomorrow is the future. We are working for the future. We get the job done today, but that builds our future. We do what needs to be done today so that what we desire to accomplish can be accomplished tomorrow, the following day, next week, the week after that, next month, the month after that. And by the end of the year, we have fulfilled what we have established as part of our 7-year plan. So we have to really focus on not just what needs to be done, but also what we desire to accomplish. So in saying that, what I want to say to you is, go back, review your implementation strategy, the steps that need to be taken to accomplish what you want to accomplish for the remainder of this year, because we've already completed the first quarter. We're now in the second quarter of this year, and we want to make certain that come the end of the year, everything that we have placed on our 7-year plan comes to pass, that it comes to fruition, that we begin to see results. That's living life to the fullest. That's accomplishing success. That leads to maximizing success. And the goal is to experience the fullness of God for each and every one of us. For us to experience exactly what God has purposed for our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Charles Tyrwhitt, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and at the King of Prussia Mall in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. I'm in Charles Tyrwhitt Attire. If you are in any of those areas, check for their store hours. Stop in at their retail stores. They have everything a man could possibly need. Shirts for men, ties for men, suits for men, and accessories. If you're not in any of those areas, you can order from Charles Tyrwhitt at ctshirts.com. They will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And database your sizes so that whenever you call again for a reorder or for a new order, they will pull up by your customer number and ship immediately to your front door in an appropriate period of time. And the White Company, located in London, the UK. They also have stores in New York on Fifth Avenue and in the Short Hills Mall in New Jersey, in Short Hills, New Jersey. If you're in either of those areas, stop in at the retail stores. They have everything you could possibly need: home goods, clothing for men, women, and children. If you're not in any of those two areas, you can order from The White Company at thewhitecompany.com. They too will ship and deliver right to your front door in an appropriate period of time. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated you feel like you are a juggling act and it has become exhausting for you. However, you feel like if you stop juggling, all the balls will drop and everything will collapse. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is this. First of all, examine all the balls you're juggling. Sometimes we make things harder for ourselves than we really need to make them. Examine all the balls that you're juggling. Decide if you really need to juggle all those balls. Maybe you need to hand off one or two of the balls to someone else. You've got two hands, but you might be juggling more than you're juggling more than what you need to juggle. I'm not implying that you're not capable or competent to juggle them. You're just juggling too many balls. Perhaps you can hand off one or two of the balls to someone else. So examine the balls that you are currently juggling. And then I was just going to use the analogy, drop a couple of the balls, but drop them by importance. So even if you can't pass them off to someone who's capable and competent to juggle those balls, just drop them based on the level of importance. There are some balls that you are juggling that you don't need to juggle. There are some things that you are doing that you don't need to do. You are taking on balls just because you can juggle. So let me say this for all of our listeners and viewers. We all want to make certain that we are, first of all, being the best version of ourselves that we can possibly become. That means we want to make certain we have a spirit of excellence, that we're giving 100% of the time to every single day. We want to make certain that we're doing that, first of all. And as we become the best version of ourselves, we make certain that, first of all, if you are working for a company, that your company is strong and vibrant and profitable. If you are an employer, you want to make certain that your company is strong, vibrant, and profitable. But you also have to recognize the importance of your responsibility of being a business owner by realizing that there are people depending on you every single day. There are people depending on you to get out of bed every single day so that they can pay their mortgages, pay their car notes, send their children to school. That's part of your responsibility as being a business owner. So you have to make certain that you are maximizing your profitability, your performance, and your profitability. And then we have to say, okay, I have a responsibility to build a great quality of life that will live on from generation unto generation. That's what you've got to be working for. It can't just be, I'm building a great quality of life and I'm just going to live and enjoy it. It has to be, this is going to be sustainable for the long term, for generation unto generation unto generation. Now, you might say, if you're sitting there right now saying, I'm not married, I don't have any children, how am I building for the next generation? But there are charitable endeavors that you can pursue to be a responsible part of our society that will have an impact on generations that will follow. So that's a choice. You have to decide if you're not going to marry and have children, if you're not going to have your own children to build your legacy and have them preserve and sustain your legacy, then you have to decide where everything that you do now and everything that you generate now is going to be able to have an impact after you're gone. And the reason is because you can't take any of it with you. It's not feasible. So we have to recognize the importance of life and the significant role that we play in this play of society, the significant role that we play in society. So, having said that, I want to encourage you to be mindful that you're taking on too much. You're doing too much. You know, this is going to take me into another communication, but I'm not going to go too far into it. You've got to eliminate some things that you're doing because it's also preventing you from being the best version of yourself that you can possibly become. So we want to make certain that we are maximizing our success and the quality of our lives. So I want to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers. I was going to hold this one till tomorrow because I didn't want to run out of time, but I think we can get through this one. You indicated that everything has been going well for you professionally. However, your personal life leaves much to be desired. So let me just say this. Keep your attention focused on your professional career right now. And as I said to one of the previous listeners and viewers, date with a purpose. Your personal life is, you said, leaves a lot to desire. Well, the reason is because you haven't been dating with a purpose. You're a new viewer, so you don't know this. You're not dating with a purpose. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is go back and view the archives, because you will hear me talk about how we date with purpose. And that we're not just dating for entertainment, we're not just dating for social activity, we're not just dating for a free meal, we're dating with a purpose. And that purpose is to ensure that the person we're going to allow to be engaged in our lives has the same vision that you have for life, can walk together in agreement with you as you walk out this journey of life, and that both of you are going to, first of all, have a relationship with the Lord, and second of all, build a great quality of life that God has purposed for you. So go back, view the archives, and you will find out how to date with purpose. I will talk about this again, I'm sure, at some point, but I know we're going to be short on time today. I just want to say to you, focus though on your professional career, because you're doing well there. You want to continue to do well. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says we want to hear, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant." So God has given you a great career assignment. You want to make certain that in the end you hear, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." So you want to focus on that, and then start dating with a purpose now that we're coming out of this pandemic. 3D, today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast is brought to you by Fiji Water. A taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. Now, as you know, we want everyone to be whole in their body, mind, and spirit. So the first Thursday of every month, we have with us Rebecca Buva, licensed and registered dietitian and nutritionist. Go to her website, BeccaTheDietitian.com. She takes insurance, Independent Blue Cross Blue Shield. She takes Aetna. She takes Highmark,